Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Smackdown spoilers, your WWE main event results that belong on WWE Network only now, and wrestling news around the world and birthdays. Well, Smackdown taping will be held in Atlanta, Georgia at the Phillips Arena, featuring the featured matches U.S. Champion Sheamus versus IC Champion Bad News Barrett, and a non-title champion versus champion match will be the final television event prior to Sunday's WWE Payback event. Advertised talent pool also features Randy Orton, Triple H, Sheamus, the Wyatt family, Batista, The Shield, Alberto Del Rio, Kane. Darkman event for match for SmackDown is advertised as The Shield versus Wyatt family in a six-man tag action. Happy birthday goes to Diva Natalia, aka Natalie Neidhart, turned 32 years old. She was born May 27, 1982. Natalia will be facing Charlotte on this Thursday's NXT TakeOver event for NXT Women's Championship that was vacated by Diva Champion Paige, as Natalia is the daughter of the Jimmy Anvil Neidhart and the granddaughter of Stu Hart. She is married to WWE wrestler Tyson Kidd, aka TJ Wilson, who will also challenge for gold at NXT TakeOver when he faces Adrian Neville for the NXT Championship. So, go to the network and catch the NXT. WWE superstar Seth Rollins turned 28, while legend Kamala turned 64. Former WWE Tag Team Champion Chaz Headbanger Mosh Warrington turned 43, and Randy Orton's uncle, former WWE talent Barry Orton, turned 56. Former WCW and TNA executive Eric Bischoff turned 59. He was born May 27, 1955. Bischoff got his start in the AWA promotion and also worked for WWE as an on-air character. He co-funded the Bischoff Harvey Entertainment Company with former actor Jason Harvey. The company produces mostly reality TV shows including The Devil's Ride, Hardcore Pawn Chicago, and Celebrity Championship Wrestling. Bischoff made a recent four-part appearance on Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast, which is a good listen, and beer is consumed. Check out the interview at this link here. And please note that some of the podcasts appear on the Unleashed version of Austin's podcast, which can also be accessed from the same link. Hornswoggle versus El Torito in a hair versus hair mask has been added to the WWE Payback lineup on the kickoff show, pre-show, which can be found on either WWE.com or Wago Inside News, which they do it anyway. The match was actually set up when Hornswoggle ripped the fake tail off of Torito, who sought medical treatment afterwards. Yeah, really, that was kind of boring after I watched it. Anyway, their Wheel C match, WLC, was a lot of fun last month. We'll see how this one lights up your lights, puts any sparkles in your head, in your eyes. Tonight's main event SmackDown tapings. It took place on the Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Scott Hall and Ric Flair was backstage, but probably won't be appearing. Announced for a main event was Eric Rowan and Luke Harper versus Usos, and it's scheduled for SmackDown with Sheamus versus Bad News Barrett. Bella Twins discussed the perfect man in their WWE Countdown extra in the video. Also, more videos will be added in the following links as well. An extra from WrestleMania Rewind, where Chris Jericho talks about why he is the best in the world. Ricardo Rodriguez talks to Eva Marie and Nikki Bella for the Spanish broadcast. And also Cesaro interviewing John Cena and Adam Rose for WWE's German broadcast, while Adam Rose's video is also at this link. I'll be posting Cena's link as well. Former Oasis frontman Noel Gallagher was backstage meeting several WWE superstars and divas at last Tuesday's SmackDown tapings in London. The Great Galaxian Bash, I guess how to pronounce it, Galaxian Bash just got bigger with former WWE, ECW, and TNA star Stevie Richards. who has just been added to the lineup. The Great Galaxian Bash will take place on July 11th in Jamestown, New York, and this major wrestling event is 2 cards and one featuring wrestling legends, top venue talent, and the first ever live event for Champions of the Galaxy wrestling game. The first half of the feature, COTG live event, where the characters from Champions of the Galaxy come to life. Wrestlers appearing will be Chuck Taylor, Alex Reynolds, John Silver, and more. Alien Mask will be distributed to the fans in this once-in-a-lifetime event. What are they trying to do? Break the mask record? Like WWE is going to try and do at WrestleMania? The Legends half of the card features Marty Jannetty, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Doink the Clown, John McChesney, and more. The Great Galaxian Bash takes place on July 11th again at Allen Park Ice Rink in Jamestown, New York. To buy tickets, go to this link here. Or for more info, go to the bottom link, which will be philsingergames.com. The wrestler formerly known as Original Cara, Triple H tweeted about out this photo, which will be shown at the end of the video, with the heading shown with a new name, Mystico and LA Gutierrez. But that tweet was deleted and now replaced with this: El Misterioso Luchador Aparicio and Tapachula. Ahora aparece Vestido de Plata Oro. I'm not very good at Spanish. While in the UK last, London native Layla spoke to Bang Showbiz about how she would like to host the Strictly Come Dancing TV show. For what it's worth, the article also noted that Layla said she wants to return to the UK for good this year, thus being her full retirement from WWE or possibly wrestling period. WHNT.com has an article about Ric Flair showing up at their TV studios this past week to film a commercial for a local mortgage company. Flair is featured in first family mortgage commercials that will begin airing probably Wednesday in the Huntsville, Alabama area. Photo of Flair filming commercial. I'll show that at the end of the video. Just a picture anyways. Former WWE star Tyler Rex recently spoke to Alex Overt from Journey of a Frontman website. Here are the highlights. Alex asked, for the wrestlers on the road, how does a 10-minute match in the ring compare to a standard workout? Well, as Gabe Tubbs' real name, it's 2 completely different animals. There is no substitute for in-ring conditioning. There's just none. You can be overweight, you can be thinny, or you can be in super good athlete shape or athletic shape with a great physique, but you may not have ring shape. It's all about being able to take bumps. There's really intense stress that is being put on your body in the ring, and you just cannot compare to that. But building muscles outside the ring is also completely different, and it's necessary because of the idea of wrestling is to look at somebody with a decent physique. Sometimes you get guys that are bigger than you and heavier on purpose, and that's their character. But for the most part, we want to see athletes. So that takes a completely separate regimen. If you are on the road, going and doing house shows and TV every week, doing a 10, 12, 15-minute match, that's going to keep your wind up in the ring. But you still need to go and you still need to lift weights. I was then asked, who were your favorite wrestlers to work out on the road with? And Gabe says, Chris Masters was awesome because he didn't miss a day. Hawkins because we rode together all the time. Curtis, currently known as that's Johnny Curtis, currently known as Fandango. Oh, another great guy to lift is Tyson Kidd. Just guys that are really consistent, that aren't afraid to be pushed or to push me. Alex Riley was always in the gym. Good guy to work out with. Mason Ryan, obviously huge and an inspiration. I think he was one of my main motivators while I was there. So those guys, great guys to work out with. Next question, Alex asks, with leaving WWE and starting your own business with Body Spartan, what is your advice for current WWE and TNA wrestlers who might unexpectedly get released and need a game plan so they don't wind up on the indies in their 50s and 60s? That's a good question. So I'm in my 40s, starting in the indies. Gabe Tough says, that's a tough one. You can always come work for Body Spartan and laugh. The door is wide open for any of my brothers in the wrestling community to come and take part and be a part of the team. But on a separate note, as far as starting a business, I was lucky enough to have a degree in civil engineering, and I've always been an internet geek that I was able to start something from scratch. I started an internet marketing company with my brother-in-law. I would just say, for the guys out there, wrestling is not the end of all. There is life after wrestling. You just have to stay motivated. It's like in the book where I talk about finding motivation for being in the gym. The same goes for life outside wrestling. Got to be motivated to go to make money. Be innovative. Be entrepreneurial. Don't get caught up in the rat race, because if you're wrestling, you don't want to be in that rat race anyway. You're meant for something different with all the ways to make money out there. I encourage guys that if that happens, call me, tweet me. I'd be happy to chat with you. I do startups all the time, and we help brand new companies with their branding and their digital marketing. Any of those guys, man, I'm happy to have a free consultation. Sit down, do a phone conference, and hopefully get them on the right path. And next question, Alex asks, getting into your wrestling career, the first question I have, what was it like on the NXT Redemption working main event programs with promo time and lengthy matches? And he comments by saying, it was the best thing that has ever happened to us. Before, when on Smackdown and Raw, things were happening so quick, we would just sit there and hope for a match. If we got one, it was really short, and there was no time for promos. We couldn't develop our characters, and all of a sudden, while on a C show, Vince didn't care about that. It was obvious because the writers were like, well, they don't care, so why should we? So you do whatever you want. Tom was one of the main writers that he came up with these great ideas. He came from a soap opera background, so he loved storylines. He was into writing just not story for this week, but a story for 5 or 6 weeks in advance, which, as you saw, something that happened. And we got tons of mic time, long matches, and I loved it. Hawkins loved it. It helped us develop our characters. And we had this miniature following, and they loved it. Some people on social media were just saying that the NXT Redemption was better than Raw and SmackDown. I don't know if that's true, but I had a great time. I enjoyed the fact that the fans loved it, and they appreciated it, and they liked the storylines and matches. We're not Jericho's. We're not Orton. We're not Cena's. We don't have that many years under our belt. But we had a good time, and we think it was pretty entertaining. And another question Alex asked, what's your take on why WWE chose to abandon the competition format on NXT Redemption midway through the season and basically turned it into what the WWE version of ECW was? And his answer is, I think it was just a lack of anybody in a position to make decisions that cared. I just think it was a falling off the radar. They had too much going on. The competition is just started getting going on forever. The writers didn't really think past the week that they're going. They never really thought into the future. It's just what's going on that week, that day. Okay, so you got Cena. We've got Cena to wrestle. We've got Orton to wrestle. We got these guys to wrestle. We spent 2 minutes writing NXT. That kind of thing. So it just kind of became its own different show. The whole competition just suddenly disappeared. And he laughs about it. Nobody had any idea what was going on. The next question Alex asked, a true wrestling veteran, William Regal, was part of NXT Redemption. What do you learn from him? Comments. Regal is just a book of knowledge. And it was It was little things like ways to engage the crowd, how to pick one single person out of the crowd that was an agitator, and to make eye contact. Getting that person riled up so the people in the crowd would get riled up themselves. Just ways to work the crowd, how to work differently and creatively, how to build a storyline creatively, how to take our time. There's a lot of stuff that the vets can offer, a lot of knowledge that you just can't get in FCW, and you can't get unless you work with the guys in the ring, whether they're there to compete or watch your matches and give you advice. It was not something that he just dished out. He was quiet at first, and then he understood that we cared and we wanted to learn. So he gave us a little more and a little more, and before you know it, he was helping us out quite a bit. Now another question Alex asked him. You also worked a lot with Matt Striker on NXT Redemption. What was your relationship with him like backstage? Gabe says, Striker's a great guy. He would always pull me aside and give me advice. Him and I are buddies. Again, a great guy. Another guy with a lot of knowledge. A great amount of knowledge for creating a story that's interesting. Not just going out there and wrestling, but telling a story. It's just a kind of a lost art. That's what those vets have to offer. And Stryker would watch every match and watch every promo Hawkins and I did. He sometimes pulled me aside and grabbed me and grabbed Hawkins and said, real quick, just wanted to tell you this and this and this. Maybe try this, or maybe suggest you to talk to a writer and try something like this. You got nothing to lose. And 99% of the time, he was right. He just had a ton of good ideas that came to fruition for us. William Regal paid a visit to former WWE star Alex Wright. Goth Wonder Kid's Hall of NEW training school while WWE was in Germany this past week. As noted, Wright was recently working at WWE Performance Center last week as a guest trainer. Oh, by the way, that ended the interview for Title Rex. Dave Cup. Okay, Matt Morgan commented on WWE Network about WWE Network for next year's ideas. Follow him at, of course, you got twitter.com at capital B, capital P, Matt Morgan. I prefer, he comments by saying, I prefer to pay more dollars each month if that meant no advertising in 2015 for hashtag WWE Network. To me, old stuff and original shows, documents are well worth it. The Miz will be appearing on the season finale of Hidden Camera game show Deal With It on TBS. The episode this coming Wednesday, next Wednesday, June the 4th at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9:30 Central. Check out your local station, local guide for your channel for TBS. This is the same show that Chris Jericho was recently on. Next Tuesday night's new episode of WrestleMania Rewind on WWE Network will focus on Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. And also next Tuesday's episode of WWE Countdown will be the greatest couples in history. The tag team dream match that Matt Hardy was teasing earlier this week has been announced for Northeast Wrestling Under the Stars 3 event on August the 2nd at Dutcher Stadium in Fishkill, New York. Matt and Jeff will be facing former TNA stars, the Young Bucks. Jerry Lawler, Velvet Sky, Booker T, and others will also be appearing. Ivan sent word that a rumor is going around on Big Brother message boards saying that this year's show will pair former house guests with their family members, that Frank Udi, the son of WWE legend Psycho Sid Vicious, may be brought back with his father as one of the team. Frank appeared on season 14 of Big Brother on CBS. Other sons, Scott Hall's son, Cody Hall, turned 23 years old on May 31st, turns this coming week, at the end of the week, on May 31st. And will be wrestling at the World Extreme Wrestling C4 Showdown event in Sandbury, Pennsylvania. If you didn't know, You better call me, bro, because he was previously scheduled to wrestle in Canada, and that event canceled. Well, we'll see how this will go with well, that was not mistaken, that was Benoit's son, David Benoit. Well, Scott will be acting as Cody's manager. X-Pac, Sean Waltman, Carlito, and others will be appearing also at the show as well. Raw's Girl of Wrestling Inc. reported that WWE is working on a new Randy Savage DVD. Ooh yeah, this set will feature a documentary on Savage's career. Unlike WWE's previous Macho Man DVD, several talents have already been interviewed for the piece. Bo Dallas' new theme, Shoot for the Stars, is now available on iTunes. Follow WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts as he tweeted in ATL at Smackdown visiting and shaking some hands. Such an awesome feels just to talk to these men and women. Makes me dream sweet dreams. Regarding Hall, he was spotted watching the show with his son Cody at the event on SmackDown. Flair was also seen entering the building with some kids, possibly his family members. Mason Ryan's first post-WWE appearance will come this Saturday on American Pro Wrestling Alliance TV taping in Shinston, West Virginia. Rob Cherry, Christian York, and former WCW star Kevin Sullivan will also be appearing. For those that don't know, oh, you better call me, bro, because Kevin Sullivan, my opinion, was a killer of the Benoit family. Because how can you strangle yourself on a weight machine? The chair be clear across the other room. That's a taskmaster, if you didn't know. The new issue of WWE Magazine has a fan question and answer section where Dean Ambrose refers to Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns as his former partners. One of the questions asked Ambrose if there was a WWE superstar that could make him laugh. He replied, quote, "My former partners, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. I was probably the class clown of the group, so I'd usually start the joking and ribbing. But those two are hilarious. Daniel Bryan is funny too, but more because he's funny looking." Unquote. And your main event results from the network, Atlanta, Georgia, at the Phillips Arena. The opening video of the broadcast with Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton on commentary. Match number 1, Cody Rhodes with Goldust versus Curtis Axel with Ryback. Ryback and Axel still have matching red hats. Footage aired from backstage at Raw of Ryback and Axel mocking the Rhodes brothers after losing to Batista and Randy Orton. They mocked them for having more losses than Barry Horowitz in his prime, which was funny. At 4 minutes in the match, Cody hit the moonsault onto a standing Axel and got a 2 count. Ryback took out Goldust at ringside. Cody was distracted and ended up being rolled up by Axel, who held on to the tights while getting the 3 count. Cody showed frustration over the loss, and the announcer said he can't seem to catch a break. So Curtis won in 4 minutes 20 seconds. A good TV style match. No surprise considering the talent in the ring. For some reason, they seem to do a better job of telling the story of Cody's growing frustration on main event than they do on Raw. By the way, the show was airing on a roughly 30-minute delay. The tag main event was actually taking place in Atlanta while this match was being shown on delay. Footage aired from Raw of the Wyatt family and broadcast team angle. The graphic touted at SmackDown as they had the commercial as a graphic touted that SmackDown was the most watched cable show on Friday night from last week. The broadcast team then hyped Sheamus versus Bad News Barrett for Friday SmackDown. R-Truth made his unusual entrance, and then highlights aired of Damian Sandow dressed as Sherlock Holmes beating R-Truth last week. Sandow came out as D-Sizzle. He wore a red tracksuit and had a chain with duct tape around his neck. Sandow, who wore a grill, performed a horrible rap. "My teeth are clean, but I still be flossing," Sandow concluded. Truth commented on Sandow's rapping by saying, "Ain't nobody got time for that." Match number 2, Damian Sizzle Sandow versus R-Truth. Sandow worked the match in the jogging suit. At one point, he put Truth down and yelled, "Throw your hands in the air," before dropping his elbow on Truth However, Truth came back and got a clean pin in a 2-minute, 25-second match. I hated Sandow as Magneto, Sherlock Holmes, and then Davy Crockett from Raw. The live crowd didn't seem to enjoy this gimmick. I hate to see Sandow wasted in a comedy role such as Santino, but the sizzle cracked me up a few times. A Raw recap focused on the Daniel Bryan and Stephanie McMahon angle. The Bella Twins were showing backstage. Brie was upset and Nikki was confronting her as they cut to a commercial. Match number 3, Brie Bella with Nikki versus Natalya. Brie had Natalya in a single leg crowd late in the match, but Natalya came back with a sharpshooter for the win. Brie was emotional afterwards, and Natalya and Nikki consoled her as she sold the Stephanie storyline. And Natalya won in a 3-minute, 25-second match. Focus was on the Brie storyline, and not so much a setup for Natalya going for the NXT Women's Championship on NXT TakeOver this Thursday. By the way, our WWE Smackdown taping coverage was underway. That was where I got the results from. Was underway on the main page. Backstage, Renee Young interviewed the Uso brothers, who delivered a brief promo about their match against Eric Rowan and Luke Harper as they go to commercial. Then a graphic listed the most watched WWE Network shows from last week. A Raw recap video focused on the Evolution and Shield contract signing segment. Then the Wyatt family delivered a backstage promo. Luke Harper spoke briefly about how a man who has nothing left to lose has nothing left to fear. He said Bray Wyatt saved them and gave them a purpose. Wyatt focused more on his promo on John Cena, and then Eric Rowan closed out by saying, "Run!" Commercial break. Match number 4, WWE Tag Team Champions Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso versus Luke Harper and Eric Rowan with Wade Wyatt in the corner in a non-title match. Wyatt did their city-specific pre-match intro. We're here, whatever city they are. There was a commercial break early in the match. After that break, Jay tags in and got a quick flurry on offense, which ended when Rowan performed a fall-away slam. Late in the match, Jimmy hits a Samoan drop on Harper and then caught him on a super kick. But Rowan broke the pin attempt. Joey and then Rowan fought to ringside as Jay jumped Harper to the floor. The Uso brothers performed the simultaneous dives. Suicide dives on to Harper and Rowan. Wyatt got up from the chair and said something to his team. Jimmy rolled Harper into the ring and went up top, but Rowan and Jay brawled outside, causing him to lose his balance. Jimmy jumped over a charging Harper, but then turned into Harper's big clothesline. Harper pinned Jimmy. Afterwards, Wyatt performed Sister Abigail on Jimmy Uso, and then Harper knelt over Jimmy and counted to 10 to sell the last man standing stipulation of the Wyatt versus John Cena match to close out the show. And the match took 10 minutes and 40 seconds. A good TV main event. Here's hoping Rowan and Harper winning will set up a tag title match for Payback. One way or another, I believe the Uso brothers versus Harper and Rowan is finally a program. It should be a good one. Overall, a good edition of the main event following last week's mess that concluded with an arm wrestling match. I thought we might get Cesaro versus Mark Henry in a follow-up on the arm wrestling angle last week, but that never happened. There will be 3 reports for SmackDown, I believe. Matt H. was at SmackDown TV tapings and passed along the following dark matches. Emma and Santino defeated Fandango and Layla. Emma and Santino won the pre-main event dark match with a double Cobra. And the second match, Dolph Ziggler defeated Sami Zayn. And Ziggler won with a reversal and a zigzag in the post-main event dark match. SmackDown TV tapings, the Shield opened the show. Fan jumped the barricade before Seth Rollins even got a word out. The Shield focused on Evolution, and Rollins said that the end of Evolution will be extinction. Roman Reigns closed out the segment and said Evolution would pay for powerbombing him through the table on Raw. Jimmy Uso versus Bray Wyatt in the last man standing match was announced for later in the show. Match number 1, Cesaro defeating Kofi Kingston. No pyro for Kingston. Kofi leapt off the top rope and into Cesaro's uppercut, which led to Cesaro getting the win. Cesaro performed the neutralizer on Kingston afterwards. Match number 2, Paige defeated Tamina Snuka as Alicia Fox came to the ring, and as the match started, Fox took the Divas belt and posed with it before Paige won by submission. Match number 3, Believe. Bo Dallas defeated Xavier Woods, and Bo won the match and said, "Tonight we are all winners," before hugging Woods. Match number 4, El Torito with Los Matadors defeated Jinder Mahal with Drew McIntyre, Heath Slater, and Hornswoggle. The tail of Torito won. Match number 5, U.S. Champion Sheamus defeated Intercontinental Champion Bad News Barrett in a non-title match. Paul Heyman on commentary, as normal in the last 3 weeks. As Sheamus won with a brogue kick, he grabbed Heyman afterwards, but nothing came off of it. Match number 6, Big E defeated Titus O'Neil. Big E carried an American flag to the ring. It appears that Big E versus Rusev will be added to the Payback lineup. And Lana cut a promo, and then Rusev joined her to watch the match. Big E made short work of Titus. And then they advertised Raw will return to Atlanta on October the 13th. Pre-sale password is WWE Raw. Match number 7, Adam Rose defeated Jack Swagger. Match number 8, which was their main event, Bray Wyatt defeated Jimmy Uso in a last man standing match. Wyatt won after a lot of fighting in front of the broadcast table. And the first dark match report, The Shield defeated the Wyatt family in a 6-man tag. A good match. Ambrose had a near fall of Wyatt following a roll-up from Sister Abigail attempt, as Reigns punched Wyatt and Harper and speared Harper for the win to end the show. And here's the second report from that. What happened afterwards? The Shield made their way through the crowd. Some girl jumped the rail and went to the ring and said she loves Seth. Funny, I wish Rowan had speared her in half. Is that being mean? She was escorted to the back quickly and aggressively. They talked about kicking ass at Payback. Nothing they haven't said before. And then match number 1, Cesaro defeated Kofi Kingston. Cesaro won just like that. I knew it would be a squash match, but that's WWE for you. So predictable. Bad News Barrett cuts a promo. Match number 2, Divas Champion Paige defeated Tamina Snuka. I enjoyed watching Paige. She's a good champ. Alicia Fox came out and started well, being herself. She took the belt and took selfies with it. Weird. Paige hit her Paige Turner and locked in a submission for the win. Then Sheamus cut a promo backstage. Bo Levers saw Bo Dallas defeat Xavier Woods. Woods still looks green. The crowd was dead. Bo had some good offense and won with a Bodog. Nothing special. Match number 4, El Torito with Los Matadors defeating Jinder Mahal with Drew McIntyre and Heath Slater and Hornswoggle. Match number 5, U.S. Champion Sheamus defeated Bad News Barrett in a non-title match. Both men worked hard and the crowd was very vocal early on. However, headlocks killed the crowd. Good back and forth picked things up. Then Sheamus hits a roll kick on Barrett for the win. A great match. Both men had a lot of good offense and the match had a great finish. The Usos then cut a promo backstage. Match number 6, Big E defeated Titus O'Neil. Rusev came out to the ring as well. A big USA chant started and thanked us. And Big E got off to a great start and hit the squash, the splash to get the win. Lillian Garcia let us know that Raw is coming to Atlanta on October 13th. Match number 7, Adam Rose defeated Jack Swagger. Rose needs to be more serious to get over with the reporter. He kicked Jack on the cheek at one point. Okay, Rose won quickly with a BS roll-up. Nothing special. And your main event saw Bray Wyatt defeating Jimmy Uso in a last man standing match. Bray is the man right now. He had me on the edge of my seat the whole time as CM Punk chant started. Someone screamed, "He's a quitter," late in the match. Bray did his crab walk. Uso hit the splash from the top rope, got an 8 count. Uso took out the Wyatt with a super kick, and Bray threw Uso into the steps, and then hit Sister Abigail for the win. And your dark match results: The Shield defeated the Wyatt family in a 6-man action. This is the match I was looking forward to seeing live. Late in the match, Bray went for the Sister Abigail, but Rowan got the hot tag. He hit 2 Superman punches and speared Harper for the win. And great match, great show. The third report for SmackDown. Shield kicked off the show with a promo on Evolution and Payback. Roman Reigns says Evolution will pay for putting him through the table on Raw. And this is the result thanks to Tim B for this report. Cesaro versus Kofi Kingston was up next. Cesaro came out to a big pop with Paul Heyman. Cesaro got the win and attacked Kofi after the match, hitting him with a neutralizer while Heyman cheered him on. Paige versus Tamina Snuka in a non-title match was up next. Paige got the win with a Scorpion crosslock. Alicia Fox came out during the match and taunted Paige with a Diva title belt. She tried to distract Paige to allow Tamina to get the win, but it backfired. Xavier Woods versus Bo Dallas was up next. Bo comes out and cuts another cheesy promo about Bo leaving. Bo gets the win with the Bulldog. Los Matadors of El Torito and El Torito. 3MB and Hornswoggle were out next. The match was Jinder Mahal versus El Torito. Torito won without his tail still, got the win. Jimmy Uso versus Bray Wyatt in the last man standing match, which was advertised for later. Paul Heyman come out and reminded us that Brock Lesnar ended the Undertaker streak. Heyman joined on commentary as the Intercontinental Champion. Bad News Barrett and United States Champion Sheamus made their way out for their match. This match was described as a must-see brawl. There was Let's Go Sheamus chant, Bad News Barrett dueling chant. Sheamus got the win after finishing a sequence that was described as amazing. Big E came out with an American flag and squash titles and kneel. Before they began, Lana interrupted and cut a promo on Big E and America. They got huge heel heat and USA chants. According to a correspondent, she and Rusev watched the match from ringside. Adam Rose came out to the biggest pop yet, except for the UK from the previous week. According to a correspondent, Rose went on to defeat Jack Swagger in a match and taunted Zeb Coulter for some more after the match. Bray Wyatt versus Jimmy Uso in the last man standing match was up for your main event. And this match got the first CM Punk chance of the night. This was described as a good physical match. Wyatt destroyed Uso in front of the announce table and got the win in SmackDown. And another report for what happened afterwards. Dark main event. After the tapings in Atlanta saw the Shield defeat the Wyatt family in what was described as a solid match. Dean Ambrose blocked Sister Abigail at one point. And Roman hit Superman punch on Bray Wyatt and a spear to Luke Harper for the win. And that concludes my results for SmackDown, or spoilers for SmackDown, WWE main event, birthdays, and your WWE videos for this week. Thanks again. God bless. Peace out. See you when you want to be. Don't forget, if you didn't know, you better call me, bro.